Hello and welcome along to our race day preview in association with Ladbrokes ahead of day 2 of the Galway Summer Festival. I'm David Jennings from the Racing Post, and once again I've been joined by independent racing expert Brendan Duke. Brendan, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, David.
And we got off to an absolutely cracking start yesterday. Who would have guessed it? The first of 52 races of the week, and both of us tipped the winner, Brendan.
Yes, you really are the Mourinho of presenters. You really said that you are the best guest in the world. I'm your Frank Lampard. Yes, we did tip the first winner. The first 4-9 winner of the meeting was tipped by...
You don't need to mention the price. We tipped the first winner. That's all that matters. People want winners. They don't matter about the price. Yes, Larisburg was 4-9. Yes, everybody in the whole place backed it. Yes, everybody in the whole country backed it. But so did we. So that's our claim to fame from day one. So 1 out of 7 is not too bad. Isn't that what was Meatloaf? 2 out of 3?
2 out of 3 ain't bad. Yes, I would say that I don't know about you, but while I was a bit poorer post results yesterday, who could possibly have won money yesterday, my soul was enriched by the experience of getting out of here yesterday. Did you drive out of here yesterday, David?
To elaborate, I did, yes.
Oh, well, I mean, I've seen bank jobs take longer. The traffic management in Galway, mad props to the Galway traffic management situation. Come to Galway, you won't be stuck in the place anyway.
No, certainly. So it's I suppose it's a sign of how day one went, when the highlight of both of our days was getting out of Galway quickly. So there we go. But look, day 2 yesterday was just ridiculous results. Galway were just taking the piss, really. So it's all about day 2, and the first race is at 5:20, the Colm Quinn BMW Novice Hurdle. Only the 6 runners, and we started off with a winner yesterday. Can we do it 2 days in a row, Brendan?
Yes, I think so. I thought this Law Girl was a little short at around 7-4. She doesn't seem to be particularly highly rated by the Mullins organisation. And the Cinema de Courtier, he's progressing nicely, did it well at Kilbeggan the last day, and his form is sort of on a par with the Favs. He's a 7-2 shot. The Coop Dogs first ride back for Gigginstown post job rearrangement, and hopefully he can get off to a winner as well as us.
Yeah, and guess what? I fancy Cinema de Courtier as well. I think, I could be wrong. Now, I'm usually wrong about these things, but when Lac Kivu won at Punchestown, the first thing I said to somebody standing beside me, it could have been producer Michael, I said, that's the next Hurricane Fly. Now, that was a bold statement, but I was blown away by Lac Kivu, who Cinema de Courtier got within 13 lengths of, and then won next time by 17 lengths. I think Lac Kivu is a star, and I'm hoping that Cinema de Courtier can also win the first race. That would be a nice start around 7-2.
It would be. This could be our thing, just kicking off with the first winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hopefully we get the first winner today as well. So the 5:55 race 2 of 7 is the Latin Quarter Beginner's Chase, and I'm going to kick off here because there's 2 wise men standing here in this programme, and I think there's going to be 3 wise men winning the second race, because I strongly fancy the Henry de Bromhead trained 7-year-old. He's actually my banker of the day, and I think I'm clashing with your banker of the day, which we'll come to later. But 3 wise men, 135 rated chaser, has the experience, owned by the Me family, who love a winner at Galway. I think he's been laid out for this. I think he's got some cracking form behind the likes of Disco, and proper horses rode to respect in that earlier on in the season. But apparently you have all the answers to this race, have you?
Well, indeed, as the 3 wise men did. Yes, all the answers. Rated low 130s over Hurd.
132.
132. Looks like you wouldn't be shocked if he got up into the high 140s over Fences. Looked a cider the last day in Killarney, but it was a more promising effort than Bamako Meriviere. At least he finished. I think I'd be inclined to take on the Bamako with all the answers, but I'd be very afraid of your nap of the day.
Why do you only use "the" for some things? Why is it not "the" all the answers?
Well, I just freestyle it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
there's no method to the madness.
Well, I don't like an E running into an A either.
So it's vowels. Oh, we're in Carol Vorderman territory now. Okay. So it's all the answers for Brendan Duke, and 3 wise men for me. So 2 wise men have given you 2 tips there. Okay, so the 6:25 is the Colm Quinn BMW Irish EBF Fillies Maiden, and this is a proper race now. This really is a proper race. I think there could be a few stars in here. Aidan holds the key. What do you fancy?
I am inclined to go with the Cash for Conquest, because...
Nice bit of alliteration there.
Yes, indeed. And the improvement he's been redefining the term improvement for a run this season. So Sizzling's had 2 runs. Now that Newmarket Maiden, that's worked out pretty well, but Sizzling from the wide draw against Conquest second time up from a better draw, I was inclined to follow the Cash for Conquest.
So Conquest for Brendan Duke. I kind of concur. I could see the Kevin Prendergast, very hard to pronounce. I'm gonna give it a go. Okay, I could see Mog Hamara. How's that go? Mog Hamara.
Pretty good. My Arabic is sketchy.
Okay, I think Moghamara, Moghamarah, could run quite well at a decent price. But Conquest could be a star, and if she is a star, Moghamara probably won't win. But each way, maybe at around 7 or 8 to 1, Moghamara for me. So that's the first 3 races taken care of. So moving on to race 4, the Caulfield Industrial Irish EBF Maiden over 7 furlongs, and an interesting affair, Brendan. Not a lot of form to go on, but have you found the winner?
I think it's a very trappy race. I've gone for one of the at least Dermot Weld has a runner here. You're
yes.
reassured by that, but didn't fare out very well with the draw.
No, just going back to my rich history yesterday, managing to find a horse that's pulled up in a flat race is quite a feat. Now, I think it did eventually cross the line, but the people who backed the winner actually were past the line to collect their winnings quicker than he was. Bitterly disappointing.
Well, you took a chance on Weld at a price, but it's just been such a terrible season for him. And usually the Weld MO would be to go with a horse who's had a run coming here, wouldn't it? Yeah. And this is a bad draw. So I think we can fairly safely rule this out. Jim Bulger hasn't had a winner in Galway for years. I suppose,
is that true?
Yeah, I think it's 4 years, could be 5. Now, I suppose he's due, but I thought this rim shot at a price. It was well back first time in Limerick.
It's quite a peculiar name, isn't it?
It's one that slipped through the net, I'd say. Yes, I'd say that's fair. Well, first time in Limerick, handles cut, wasn't beaten miles behind Silvercoat, who's absolutely taken off since, and had a winner in behind in that Curragh Maiden. So I thought about 16 to 1, maybe overpriced, and maybe a race that's more open than the betting suggests.
What's your selection again?
Rim Shot.
Rim Shot. Very aptly named. Who owns that? Ballylynch stud. Shame on you. Okay, I actually like high altitude here for John Murphy and Colin Keane, who's absolutely a star. Drawn in stall 3, decent form. Very decent form, including handicap form, and a mark of 72 might be good enough to win a maiden like this. And also, the best possible news when you fancy a horse, when you click Intact the Race, that you've seen that Gary O'Brien has put it up. Oh, yes. So 2 wise men have put fancy high altitude, including me, and so it's high altitude for me. 12s this morning, bit of 8s and 10s available now. That's number 5 on your race card, high altitude. So moving on to the feature race of the day, which I actually have a great record in. There's not too many races I have a great record in. One is the Ultimate Handicap Chase, which I've backed the winner of for the last 4 years in a row, and the Colin Quinn BMW Mile, which used to be the Topaz Mile, which what was it before that?
The
McDonough Handicap. Yeah, I actually have a terrific record in this, including Brendan Bracken, yeah, and Vastanea. So the Colin Quinn BMW Mile Handicap 740. I like Gold Spinner here. I do. I think it'll adore the ground. I think it's back to a mile. It's well drawn. Geraldines obviously won the race with Brendan Bracken a couple of years ago. I think this has been laid out for the race. Do you concur?
Oh, I think it has a great chance in a very open race. Well, no, I mean, Vastanea and Brendan Bracken, though, 2 great outstagers, yeah. So nice to be reminded of those. I'm going for an old stager here in Stipulate, who's a horse he's been in my horse tracker for some time. He's run 3 races this season that were a lot better than it looks. In Thursky finished 3rd off no pace.
Has it got in?
Yes, I was building up to that, okay. But he was. That
was bad enough tipping 6 losers yesterday, but tipping a reserve today.
No, you're supposed to be Mourinho. So basically, he's had 3 runs. Thirst no pace, ran on really well to be 3rd. Epsom no pace, had no chance. York, he fell out of the stalls the last day, made a big mid-race move, wasn't able to sustain it, but he ran really well twice here last year. And the kicker is Canary Row is an honour, and where was Canary Row drawn? 5. That's correct, David. He was drawn in 5. I knew the answer to that question, actually. So he's got a really good draw, likes the track. He'll surely get a good pace to run it here.
Is that the way it works?
Yeah. Where else would they stick the horse?
Do they not just all move inside, no?
So the reserve has to go out on the very wide outside. That's not fair.
This is complete guess. I have no idea, but I'm playing devil's advocate here because I don't.
Well, I'm fairly sure, viewers, that the rule is, and this would be the most equitable solution if it's not the rule, that the reserve gets in wherever the non-runner was due to be drawn. So if you go and back Stipulate,
like, what would you be? Would you be 90% sure on that? Like, give me.
I would. I'd be 90%.
Okay. Well, I agree with you. So.
Okay, great. Yeah. Stipulate from 5, fast pace, hard to beat,
and a really good jockey on board.
Who's riding it actually? I wasn't paying too much attention to the jockey.
I did that because there's no rider.
Well, don't worry about that. He's a fairly straightforward horse. The boy Ellison will get someone.
If you ever look at Tom Siegel's tipping video, how much importance do you place on jockeys? Yeah. And that's his number one thing. Right. Brendan Duke obviously doesn't agree with his theory.
No, I think there's a reason they get paid the same amount as caddies, but that's just a personal opinion.
Okay, doke. So we have stipulate with another on board at the moment for Brendan Duke and gold spinner for me in the feature race. Sorry about that. I took you to the cleaners there, really.
No, that's okay. I'll be interested to see who's riding.
Yeah. Okay. The Caulfield Industrial Handicap at 8:10. There's a lot of Caulfield involvement today. Fair play. A lot of sponsorship. Is at 8:10. It's a mile handicap and it's reasonably open. I think it's 13-2 to field. But you have some very interesting notes on this.
Yes, I do. Yes. Failed to prepare and all that. I thought there was an interesting one here. Il Piccolo Grande for Ger Lines.
Did you read his blog today?
I didn't get a chance.
I did.
Go on.
I did. And he said they've only got to the bottom of Il Piccolo Grando now, who is a 4-year-old gelding, and they said they've realised they've found a way to ride him because they're riding him up with the pace, and he was hating it. He loves passing horses, and he said if you do back Il Piccolo Grando and it swoops late but doesn't get there, don't blame the jockey because that's the way it needs to be ridden. So there you go.
I really like riding him for. Look, this is great. I should have read his blog because the one worry I had was he's had 5 runs for Ger Lines. He was as high as 82 with James Tate in England, and basically everything else at the Ger Lines stable has won this season. He's having an incredible year. So he's got an 82 horse down to 68, and he's worked out the key to him, and he's 16-1. Ride him for luck. I mean, 16-1. You got to take a chance at those prices. So Il Piccolo Grande.
And he's drawn in stall 4.
Well, I knew that, but
and he's ridden by the best jockey since Leicester.
Dusty.
No, Colin.
Oh, Colin, sorry. Yeah. No, I'm confusing him with an earlier one. Yeah, Colin. Okay. Right.
Here, the jockeys now, we'll have to do a bit of prepping on the jockeys for tomorrow, Brendan. I actually really fancied Zippy here because, but I'm kind of. You've actually nearly almost forced me to change my mind. Yeah, that's fascinating stuff. But Zippy, I was in Dundalk on the 12th of July when it won. I thought it was so impressive that day. And then when I seen it enter today, I thought it was the perfect race. Oh no, bit of cut in the ground. But then I saw it won on soft ground at Jarmouth last year. Yeah, so that could be very interesting.
With this wind, it'll nearly be good to soft by racing, will it? It's drying out pretty fast as well.
Yeah, so it was originally Zippy for me, but I'm very tempted to change to Il Piccolo. That's fancied by Brendan Duke, but time will tell. Okay, so moving on to the final race, the 840, the CaulfieldIndustrial.com. They put in a .com today for this. It is over 7 furlongs, and I've found one here. I have found one.
Has the market found it?
I think it has a little bit.
Is it Bow Satchel?
No, well, that's the obvious one.
Right,
yeah.
Okay,
no, it's a little bit more in the long grass than that. It is Midnight Mud Crabs.
Midnight Mud Crabs, yeah, Johnny Fiend. Yeah.
Just like countdown. I better check your notes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
Well, will I give my case first?
No,
okay. Well, Midnight Mud Crabs. This horse adores soft ground. I'm hoping it doesn't dry out too much, right? I loved the run the last day over 6 in Fairy House on quick ground. Very impressive at Gorham Park earlier on in the year on soft ground. Very impressive last year at Gorham. Won by 7 lengths, I think, last year on soft ground. Johnny Fiend's horses are flying. He's drawn in stall 4. Gary Halpin takes off £3. And David Jennings and Brendan Duke fancies it. What's not to like?
What's not to like? They're basically all my notes, even more succinctly put by you. Obviously, we should mention Bow Satchel because he was 8 into 11-4 last year. He's 8 into 4 this year.
Can I tell you a story about Bow Satchel? I was on a Cheltenham preview night with Adrian McGuinness. Now, you might say, why is Adrian McGuinness on a Cheltenham preview night? But he was in my local town of Skerries and he trains down the road. And we had to give our charity bets. And of course, I gave. What did I give? What was my net for Cheltenham this year? Sure, it must have been something. It must have been like Apple's Jade or something very impressive. But anyway, came to Adrian McGuinness, what's your banker for Cheltenham? And he said, I could give you a banker for Cheltenham, but like, I'd only be guessing. But what I'll do instead is, I'll give you a winner for the second day of Galway. And this was the first week in March. He said Bow Satchel will win the last race on the Tuesday of Galway. So that's 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, I mean, he's won here for the last 3 years. They've somehow got him down to 72 from winning off 75 last year.
Quite an achievement.
It's quite an achievement. We've missed the 8s. I'm not taking 4s when I can have 16s about Midnight Mud Crabs.
Oh, yes.
To validate, so it's a pity Johnny Fiend didn't write a blog. That's the only thing. But I'll take the 16s.
Yeah, we might get him to write a blog. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. That's the 7 races. Now, this is the all-important one, really, because this is all anybody wants to know. What is the Brendan Duke banker on day 2 of the Galway Festival?
All the answers.
and mine is Three Wise Men in the same race. So you're going to have to pick between David Jennings and Brendan Duke. Most people will pick Brendan Duke, and I don't blame them for picking Brendan Duke, to be honest.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm Three Wise Men. So don't forget to join us tomorrow. Hopefully one of them. If neither of them wins, I don't think we should be here tomorrow.
Yes, I think we could stake our reputation.
Yeah.
We're about two's on to click there.
Yeah, two's on to click. Yeah, we've got a few of them beaten in our time. So that was the race day preview in association with Ladbrokes for the second day of the Galway Summer Festival. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for day 3, Galway Plate Day. It's Balco the Flows Day tomorrow. Me, David Jennings, and this guy, Brendan Duke, will be back.